in about a few days, I will be 6 years cancer free. And so I survived kidney cancer. One of my brothers was diagnosed with the same thing about 6 months later. And his was already stage 4 at the time when he found out. But him and I had amazing conversations before he passed about finding what you want to do in life, go out and get it, because you just never know how life's going to turn out, how short it can be. Don't settle for anything that you're not excited about or what you want to do. Like, go out there and do it. And it was the craziest year of my life. I can tell you that for sure.
Welcome to the Online Advantage podcast, where I show you how to use digital marketing to dominate your industry. I'm your host, Laura Peters-Avalos. I'm a practicing mindset coach, full-time travel blogger, and high-level marketing consultant. I find myself discussing business strategy and mindset more often than not, but when I'm not working on developing my business, you can find me exploring Colorado's amazing hiking trails or at our family cabin in northern Minnesota. I'll be showing up in your podcast feed every week with new tricks and strategies that you can implement to leverage your business to new heights. All right, today I have Shaun from The Traveling Drifter with me. Hi, Shaun. How's it going today?
It's going good. Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to do this.
Yeah, we're so excited to have you too. So, Shaun, tell us a bit about yourself. Tell us maybe when you started travel blogging, what your blog is about and how you got started.
Ooh, that's a good loaded question. Let's see here. It really came down to involving the great pandemic that we all went through. With little things leading up to everything with that. Little brief history with all that is the fact that let's see here. Right before it, I was doing a normal corporate job like most people do in this world, where someone is in control of my life, when I can go home, when I can visit family, when I can do this, do that. And I had enough of it. And it really came down to a Christmas to where I wanted to go home, visit family. And I live on the other side of the country. I'm originally from right outside of Green Bay, Wisconsin, but I live in Charleston, South Carolina, because I don't really do the winter that much anymore in my life. And I wanted to go home. And they were like, nope, you can't take off. And at that point, I was like, I am tired of working for, quote unquote, the man to tell me what I can do and what I can't do, especially when it comes to family. So, and this was Christmas of 2019. So from there, I was like, okay, let's start to figure something else out in life. Let's look at some stuff, because I am 41 now. And at that point, I was just like, things got to start changing for me. I don't want to live this type of lifestyle anymore. So I started to look into one of my original first loves of my life, which is martial arts that I've done since I was a little kid. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to open up a school. It's a passion of mine. I always wanted to do it, blah, blah, ready for everything to happen. Bank's ready to go, ready to get my business loan. March of 2020 happens, pandemic. So I'm like, let's put a pause on this, because who knows what's going to happen here. Obviously, I can't open up a school if everything's being shut down. I can't have students. So luckily, that bad corporate job I had let us be able to work from home, everything like that, which was really nice. That I could do a lot of soul searching on my own at that point. And then I just started to figure out things that what else could I do that I absolutely love in life that I can be in control of, but also do that's on my own, where I'm a boss, I'm in charge, everything like that. And I just started being like, I love to travel, even though I can't really travel right now, but I love to travel. Things will get better. How can I figure out? And I just went like down the rabbit hole of Google searching and this and that, and discovered travel blogging, ran into, the famous people like, Nomadic Mats, Blonde Abroad, everybody like that, being like, how do they do this and make money? I want to do this. So just started going and going and going with it. And actually at some point I ran across your website and started your course. And I think I probably sat through your like how to make the six figures course, like probably 3 or 4 times, just going through, just kind of being stubborn in a way, being like, okay, I think I can get enough of this without having to do the full course, because I'm smart. I can figure it out. But then last year on my birthday, which, good year and a half into everything, almost 2 years, I was like, I just need to fully invest myself. And I bought into your program, and wow, people do it. Trust me. She's not paying for me to say that, by the way.
That's right. That's right.
And so I just fell in love with it. And to give a little bit of background, so my site is a traveling drifter, which I am fortunate enough that I moved to one of the most beautiful and awesome historic cities in the United States of Charleston, South Carolina. I am a 2 hour ride from mountains. I am 20 minutes from the beach. I live in one of the most historical, like significant cities that the country's ever had, especially in the South. So I have a plethora of things to write about and enjoy. So I mostly write about Charleston, but I'm also a big time hiker slash backpacker. But also because one of my best friends about 10 years ago made me fall in love with going on cruise ships. I write a lot about cruise ships and destinations on cruises, especially in the Caribbean, being so close. We are a cruise port here, so we go at least once, sometimes twice a year. We just have a blast with it and enjoy.
Amazing. That is so awesome. Yeah, actually, Shaun, for anyone who's listening, Shaun is one of the people who have guest posted for us. So he has actually written, a guest post for us that now ranks really, really well on Google. So thank you. And it's about Charleston. So what a great connection there. Very, very cool to hear your story. And you had mentioned something that I thought was really, it hit home for me because that was me trying all these different jobs and trying to figure out what I wanted to do. I went to college and got my degree, but I didn't want to do the 9 to 5. I didn't want to do the corporate jobs that everyone else was doing. I wanted to make my own path. So when you said I didn't want someone to control what I wanted to do, that was like, yes, that is me 100%. That's exactly why I did this. And I think we're all kind of cut from the same cloth, at least in Scale Your Travel Blog, would you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's that entrepreneurial system that we have. Like we could do these jobs, but I think we think too much. We want to do more than just kind of the 9 to 5 brick and mortar, like blah, 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 blah. Just kind of get through life. We want to live life. And that's how I look at it.
That's exactly right. I love that. Yeah, it's not about getting through life. It's about actually living it. And I know whatever, if that sounds corny or whatever to anyone, I don't care because that's the truth, and so many people don't follow that. So yeah, very cool.
Absolutely.
Now I do have another question for you because I'm curious.
Okay.
You told me that you were 41.
Yes.
Were there any that you are 41? Is there anyone in your life that kind of saw you going down this path of, not working a 9 to 5 and kind of diverting from the plan of society? Has anyone how do your friends and family see that? Are they supportive? Or is it kind of, you've gotten some weird glances? How is that?
Actually, I am very fortunate. Like, as well as I do, being Midwest, we come from a very family-centric part of the country, which I have to say, I am so happy I come from that. My family is amazing, very, very supportive. I'm going to go into maybe a little bit of a story here to kind of show maybe something like this. It's very personal, so I'm gonna let you guys know. It's cool. In fact, in about a few days, I will be 6 years cancer-free. And so I survived kidney cancer. So that was a big change of my life and family and everything like that. What's really cool is we are very, very supportive of each other no matter what. We have a very artistic slash entrepreneurial system within our family to where everybody supports each other. Like my brother, at about my age, he stopped his own business of graphic design, went back to school for psychology, and now owns 3 private practices of his own for drug and alcohol addiction. So we're all about helping each other and like growing and doing the best that we can. But to give this whole thing, so I was down here in Charleston. I got sick. I found out I'm not married. I don't have kids. So I'm completely on my own. I have great friends that here that is like my transplant family, which love them all to death. So when I got sick, I went home because I want to be around family because the worst thing can happen. I want to be there with them. But I made a promise myself that when I get better, I'm coming right back to Charleston. I gave myself 1 year and I came back about 357 days later. So just about made it there. That was my plan, my goal, and I did it. But had lots of talk with family, everything like that about life-wise, things like that. I mean, I went to school for a while. I went to school first for history and then for production and film. And actually, I worked in the film industry for a bunch of years, which was phenomenal. Very chaotic, though. If anybody's ever done it, it seems really cool. It is. The money's amazing, but those 12 to 14-hour days are just insane. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But family, everything like that is completely, totally cool. Now I'm gonna turn here a little bit. So after I had my surgeries and got better, luckily I never had to do like chemo or anything like that. It was all my right kidney. I guess had it popped out, and life was good after that. But one of my brothers was diagnosed with the same thing about 6 months later, and his was already stage 4 at the time when he found out. So I knew what was going to happen. A bunch of my family did, obviously mom, things like that, hoping everything like that. But him and I had amazing conversations before he passed, to where um, about finding what you want to do in life, go out and get it, because you just never know how life's going to turn out, how short it can be. I mean, one day we're eating pizza, and a week later, here comes that news and everything like that. So we had lots of great conversations, which helped push me in this aspect of don't settle for anything that you're not excited about or what you want to do. Like, go out there and do it. And the whole family's like that. They're like, go do everything like that. The one good thing I've always said about the time that I did get sick is it forced me to go home to spend one last year with my brother before I got to say goodbye to him, which was phenomenal timing to do. But I'm an open book. People have questions about any of this, I am all open for it. But so yeah, family is great. We're all supporting each other. In fact, you'll see that on my hiking trips on my site. If you go there, I always go with one of my brothers and his son. We always do an annual big backpacking trip every year somewhere. So all about it, big supporters for it. They're in a bunch of my pictures. They love everything. My mom's constantly on my site. Like, everybody's like all about it. My brother's wives, things like that. They're always reading my pages when I post a new post and everything. So yeah, everybody's all about it.
I love that. That's so awesome. And what a cool way to honor your brother, going to do not only these backpacking trips, but doing something that you actually love. It's very rare that you'll find people that will go and do what they actually love. But what a life-changing year, right? Because it was
God,
like within a very short time you were diagnosed, and then your brother was, and
yeah.
then he passed, and it was like all of this happened at once. And
It was
yeah,
the craziest year of my life. I can tell you that for sure.
that is, bravo for getting through it, because I know how hard it is. My mom's going through stage 4 breast cancer right now, and
I'm so
so
sorry to hear that.
I completely understand like the fear, and also like not just fear though, like, hey, I'm going to use this and I'm going to use it as a positive thing, and I'm going to use this to continue pushing through all of life's tough challenges, because nothing is as difficult as that. And I think you
No.
know that. Yeah.
And going through something like that, you really truly find out, especially if you do go through it with yourself, is that you don't want to deal with, quote unquote, BS anymore, or anything, like things that don't matter, or you find out that the little things that used to drive you down, stuff like that, don't matter anymore. And it's just all about finding out what you want to do in life and just enjoying it, like taking the positivity and everything. Like, you have your choice at that point. Look at everything negative or look at everything positive. And there's so much positive out there. Even though there's a lot of negative in this world, I always try to spin it and find the positive in whatever. Like, oh, this happens. Like for instance, my story, like I had cancer. I take the positivity that I got to spend the time with my brother before he died.
Yep.
Sucked for me, sucked for the whole thing, but I got a great year out of it with him.
Yeah.
And it's something I never would have had if I'd never got sick.
Yeah.
So those memories are mine, and I'm happy I have those.
I love that. Very, very cool. Yeah. And it's true. I mean, you can take those situations and you can look at them very, very negatively, or you can bring to the table the positive parts of it. And that's what I've been doing. I know that you're that kind of person too. I think we surround ourselves with those kind of people, which is really cool. So
Oh yeah, you have to.
very cool. Yeah. Now, speaking of the little things, you said letting go of the little things that don't matter, letting go of that kind of thing. I want to talk about the little things in blogging that might not matter. What are some, before you ever knew anything about blogging, what were some of like maybe your misconceptions about blogging that you started out not knowing, but then quickly realized, wow, if I would have continued doing that, I'm so glad I'm not.
Probably the biggest one, and I probably still have it out there because I just loved that story that I had, was probably doing blogs in a journal way, of making it like, I did this, I went through this was my journey of this, blah, blah, blah. And not realizing that wasn't the most correct way of doing it, even though it's fun and giving people that experience of things I went through, like standing in the middle of a rainstorm or a moose walking in my campsite or something like that. Even though fun stuff I will put in there, but realizing that to change that way of writing to more informational versus personal. And that was something that, thanks to you, that I learned that shouldn't do that anymore. And I've really now enjoyed that transition of writing completely different. And in fact, I was never a big writer. I was so tired of writing my life, of going to school for history, of doing those stupid long history essays. Not fun. I was done with writing, but then I just discovered how much I love writing about stuff that I love. The fact that I do live in Charleston with history, my history background, oh, this works great. You'll see I do a lot of history in my writings if anybody reads my stuff. But that's probably the biggest thing was, just changing from the journal S type writing of my personal experiences versus giving regular information.
Yeah. So, and what Shaun's talking about, for anyone who's listening, is that when we're writing blogs, we need to think about the audience that we are bringing to the table. And unfortunately, if we don't write in a way that's going to show up in, say, Google search results, or have a different way to market those blog posts, you're not actually going to gather an audience. So it kind of defeats the purpose of writing that post in itself. Of course, it's fun to share with family and friends. However, the way that we want to write our blog posts is a more informational style post, like Shaun was mentioning. Have you been able to figure out how to balance information and story to make it kind of this balance of, you can do this yourself and here's my personal experience?
Kind of, yeah. I've really lately have been trying to figure out more not so much listicle writing, which I do love those of, best places to do blah 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 blah, but more towards that itinerary mode, to where I am now taking someone on my journal journey of, like, for instance, I did one where I went to Boston and mapped out the entire Freedom Trail and everything like that, and I was basically giving them my entire experience, but in a total informational way of each location and so on, which brought it all together, which I really liked. And I'm looking forward to doing more of those. I did a great 3-day one here for Charleston, so check it out if anybody comes visits.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I just find those are fun because you're also getting your personal experience of places that you like. I like, in an instance of, like, this is where I would go on my 3-day, but it's also, for everybody else to know too, because there's so much to do wherever you go. I could probably do another 3-day with completely different landmarks for Charleston and this and that, but I don't want to compete against my own keyword.
Yep. I love it. I love it. You sound just like a blogger, which you are. So I love it. I love seeing that transformation of people, like when you first start and you're kind of thinking, man, there's a lot to do here. And then a year down the road, you're talking the exact same way everyone else is, everything, and you are that expert for blogging. So that's really, really cool to see that transformation. So Shaun, you've been working at your blog for probably, how long did you say about?
Let's see. 2020? I bought my domain and everything in December of 2020. Mm-hmm. And kind of worked on it on my own, reading things from just random online, especially through your other, what's the free one? The Success and Blog, that Facebook?
Yep, Travel Blogging Success.
That's it. So going through there, just getting tips, things like that. I did that probably for a good 1.5 years on my own, until I was like, I need to fully invest myself. And again, I could not thank you enough for all the information you have given to all of us. So, thank you.
Yeah.
That's changed everything.
Awesome.
So about 2.5 full years coming up so far. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So it's been a while. You've been at this for a while. What would you say has been, your biggest success moments? What are your favorite moments of blogging so far? What are your favorite things to do as a blogger? Because obviously there are things that we probably don't like, but
that's good stuff. Probably, let's see, the few successes there. Obviously, just seeing your website the very first time up there. It's like, it went from your head to there it is. It's like, on pen and paper. It's right there. It's real. It's tactile. You can touch it almost, even though it's on a screen. That was a good one. Then when you get your first ever one out there, your first post, and then you go back and read it years later and you're like, whoa, I need to change that up. But probably the biggest success, what has been within this last couple of weeks. I have seen things skyrocket. I finally hit your trudging through the Google mud to hit that 1,000 session, which took forever, like you said. But I want to say 3 weeks ago, I was just at that 1,000, and today I passed 4,000 sessions. So things have just skyrocketed up. And in fact, yesterday I applied for She Media. I'm just waiting to hear back from them. So I'm hoping so. I got people buying stuff on affiliates all of a sudden. Like I had a Stay 22 one yesterday or the day before. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is coming real now. Like, it's exciting with everything. So this last few weeks have been really exciting and fun. And it's almost that like, oh my God, things are going really, really fast right now. I don't know what to do. Like, calm down, slow down. Like, but I love it. I love the snowball effect. It's something I just hope it's going to keep going. I'm worried it's going to like just kind of plateau out for a little bit. And I'm like, no, but please.
Yeah, that's so cool to hear, because one of the things that I get asked about blogging in general is how long until this is going to work? And I think several other people have described it in a really tangible way that I think is pretty accurate. They said, I went to sleep doing really well, and then I woke up doing 10 times better. And that's kind of how it is. It's hard to explain to people this growth curve, because you work for so long and you see minor results until all of a sudden one day you're like, what is happening? And it goes so fast that you even kind of panic a little, like, whoa, what's happening here?
Yep.
So, explain, if you can, what is that feeling like? How does that feel to know that the work that you're putting in is actually paying off? And like, how would you describe that growth? Because it really was kind of overnight, and it is for a lot of people. It's just so hard to explain to them, like, keep going, keep doing these tiny little things, and you'll see tiny results until one day you don't.
It was, because you spend a lot of time writing, and you spend that time writing and you're like, okay, I put out another post and you see like, oh, cool, I got like another 20 extra people that took a look at it. And you're like, that's it for all the hours I just put in for this and blah, blah, blah. But you got to think the long game. Like, this isn't something that's just going to happen overnight. Like, you got to take your time with it. And then, but you get that whole point where you're like, oh God, is this even worth it? I'm not getting enough. And then it happens. And it's like one of those weird things that just clicks. And like, for me, what happened with it was my buddy said the easiest thing to me that I didn't even think about. And I don't know why, but he's like, we do live in Charleston. He's like, have you gone on like any of like the Charleston Facebook groups and like joined them and talked about stuff? And I was like, well, that would be a smart thing to do. So I joined them, and there's actually this one that's great that has 42,000 people like part of that group. And so anytime somebody's asking a question of like bachelor party coming up, where should we go for drinks? I'm throwing out my rooftop bar one or this or that. And like every couple of days, I'll just throw out one of my posts like that. And that's where things have started skyrocketing with that. And now I'm starting to see them share it with other groups and things like that. So things are going over there. Now, I wish my Google views was better like that, but this has been blown up from the social media side. But hey, I'm going to take it.
Absolutely.
These are views for me, and analytics sees it, and I'm happy with it.
Absolutely. And I think that that's so important to remember, that it isn't just cut and dry. There are always other ways to, number one, promote your website, and number two, make money from your website. And I'm sure you've heard from other students who have found these really clever ways to make money from their blogs, and other people who have clever ways of getting more traffic. And that is such a good tip. So again, just if anyone didn't really hear, and I know you probably did, but just to repeat what Shaun said, his buddy told him to join a Facebook group that was specifically for that destination, correct? It was about Charleston. Yeah. And there are so many of these Facebook groups for all different destinations around the world. And that can absolutely help you not only get in front of the right audience, but grow that audience a heck of a lot faster. So,
and what's really cool about that is the fact that with us being the city we are, is we're one of the most traveled destination city in the country. So the majority of the people in this group aren't from Charleston. They're from all over. But by doing it too, I've also, I know it's not a big number, but 2 weeks ago, I had 5 people on my email list, and they were all friends or related to me. And now I'm up to about 25, 30. So they're joining that too with it, which is great. So I'm building that audience to keep what you always talk about, how important the email list is. So I'm excited to see that.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. And it is so important to have your readers collected somewhere else other than, say, Facebook or Instagram, or having followers on a platform. An email list gives you a tangible list of people who want to read your stuff. So that
Absolutely.
is so exciting to hear. Very, very cool. Well, thank you so much for coming on our show, Shaun. It was so great to chat with you. Where can people find you?
You can find me at thetravelingdrifter.com. That's the easiest way. Otherwise, you can email me at Shaun@thetravelingdrifter.com. Or the same thing with Facebook and Instagram, like normal, with just the Traveling Drifter right behind it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. I'll
Well,
leave
thank
those
you.
links in the comments as well for anyone who wants to go and check out Shaun's site or chat with him. And thank you so much again, Shaun. Thanks for opening up and being vulnerable. It's really awesome to hear your story and how far you've come. So
Of
thank you
course.
for everything.
Yeah, I've lived a life that it's best to learn. And if I can help people learn, that's worth living.
I love that. Very, very cool. Thanks so much, Shaun.
Thank you so much.